All right, let's just jump right into this explainer. Today we're tracking a really devastating historical domino effect that kicks off on an ancient battlefield. It's this massive story of strategy, desperation, and just total collapse from ancient historical texts. Specifically, we're looking at a huge clash between ancient Israel and the Philistines. It all starts with a single military loss, but as you'll see, it quickly snowballs into a full-on, multi-generational tragedy revolving around one incredibly revered object.
So, what actually happens when an army treats a sacred artifact like it's just a weapon of war? Well, we're going to explore that exact question by looking at how one desperate decision triggered a massive cascade of disasters. Have you ever faced a real setback and immediately just looked for a shortcut, like a silver bullet, to fix it? This explainer is practically a masterclass in the dangers of doing exactly that. We're going to see what happens when leaders bypass genuine problem-solving in favor of using a sacred symbol as a tactical weapon to just force a victory.
The narrative begins with a pretty straightforward, high-stakes confrontation. The word of Samuel has come to all Israel, and the armies are mobilizing. Israel pitches their camp beside Ebenezer, and the Philistines array themselves over at Aphek. The stage is totally set. You've got two massive forces just staring each other down, fully arrayed for battle. The tension is absolutely incredible, and the second they clash, things immediately go horribly wrong for one side. Israel is just completely smitten before the Philistines. During this very first engagement, they lose about 4,000 men right there in the field. 4,000! It is a shocking, incredibly demoralizing blow. I mean, you can imagine the retreating soldiers coming back to the camp, utterly devastated, looking to their leadership for some kind of answer. They desperately need a new strategy, and they need it fast before the Philistines can press their advantage.
When those survivors get back to camp, the elders of Israel ask a really poignant question. Why has the Lord smitten us today? It's a great question, right? But instead of rethinking their military strategy or looking inward, they reach for a quick fix. They decide to fetch the Ark of the Covenant all the way from Shiloh, basically assuming that its mere physical presence is going to guarantee salvation. So the Ark arrives, and it's flanked by Eli's two sons, the priests Hophni and Phinehas. Now, this brilliant psychological shift happens almost immediately. When the Ark actually enters the camp, all of Israel erupts into this triumphant shout. It's so loud the text literally says the earth rang again. They genuinely think they've won the war before the second battle even starts. But over across the lines, the Philistines hear this massive noise. They realize the ark has arrived, and they are struck with sheer terror. They cry out, "Woe unto us," recalling the plagues of Egypt, utterly terrified of these mighty gods entering the fray.
And right here is the ultimate reversal of expectations. You'd probably think this existential terror would cause the Philistines to just break ranks and run, right? Well, it doesn't. Their absolute dread actually motivates them to fight so much harder. Their leaders rally them with this desperate cry, "Be strong and quit yourselves like men, O ye Philistines! Fight!" So fear literally becomes their ultimate motivator.
So the really crucial point to grasp here is that bringing the Ark into the mix made things exponentially worse. The Philistines fought with absolutely everything they had. Israel was crushed again, but this time, the casualties escalated from that initial 4,000 to a staggering 30,000 footmen. 30,000! It was just an absolute slaughter. That shortcut they tried, it didn't just fail, it amplified the destruction nearly eightfold.
That whole silver bullet idea completely backfired, leading to the unthinkable. Not only did Israel suffer this catastrophic military defeat, but the two sons of Eli, Hophni and Phinehas, were slain right there on the battlefield. And then the ultimate disaster happened. The Ark of God was taken. The Philistines actually captured the Ark. The very artifact Israel thought would guarantee their salvation was now a literal trophy in the hands of their enemies.
Now let's shift our focus over to Shiloh, because the shockwave of this battle is about to hit the home front. A messenger from the tribe of Benjamin sprints out of the army and runs all the way to Shiloh that very same day. And he arrives looking like the picture of utter tragedy. His clothes are torn, he's got earth upon his head, which were the ancient, unmistakable signs of an intense disaster.
He approaches the city where Eli is waiting. Now, Eli is 98 years old. He's a heavy man, and his eyes are dim so he can't see. But he is sitting anxiously on a seat by the wayside, just listening. Why? Because the text tells us his heart is trembling for the Ark of God. When the messenger comes into the city and shares the news, the entire city cries out. And Eli, hearing the tumult of this massive crying, asks, "What does the noise of this tumult mean?"
The messenger hastily approaches Eli and delivers the horrific news in these 4 escalating rhythmic blows. Step 1, Israel has fled. Step 2, there has been a great slaughter. Step 3,
And this gets really personal now. Eli's two sons, Hophni and Phinehas, are dead. And step 4, he saves the absolute most devastating piece of information for the very end. The Ark of God is taken.
His reaction is instantaneous and completely tragic. It wasn't the news of the fleeing army that ended him. It wasn't even the horrific news that his own two sons were dead. The text makes a point to specifically note that it came to pass, when the messenger made mention of the Ark of God being taken, that the heavy, 98-year-old Eli literally fell from off his seat backward by the side of the gate. His neck broke, and he died. This man had judged Israel for 40 years, and his entire tenure ended in this sudden, catastrophic collapse.
But sadly, the tragedy isn't quite over yet. The domino effect hits its final target. Eli's daughter-in-law, the wife of the slain Phinehas. She was pregnant and very near to giving birth. When she hears these rapid-fire tidings, that the Ark of God is taken, that her father-in-law is dead, and that her husband is dead, the physical and emotional shock is just too much. She bows herself and goes into a traumatic, fatal labor as her pains come upon her.
As she's dying, the women standing by try to comfort her. They tell her, "Fear not, for thou hast borne a son." But she doesn't answer them. She doesn't even regard it. Instead, with her dying breaths, she names the child Ichabod. And she explicitly defines the name, saying, "The glory is departed from Israel." She etches the loss of the ark, along with her father-in-law and her husband, into the very identity of her newborn son, forever.
So as we wrap up this explainer, let's take a step back and look at the big picture. The story of Elion and the Lost Ark is this fascinating historical case study in human nature. It shows exactly how the desperate attempt to use a sacred symbol as a quick tactical fix didn't just fail to prevent a disaster, it triggered an absolutely massive one. It's a pretty timeless reminder for how we handle our own crises. When the walls are closing in, are you doing the hard work to address the root of the problem, or are you just hoping a magic bullet is going to save you? Think about it. Thanks for exploring this history with me.